Happy Dinger Tuesday. Make it 17 of the last 20 winning days on a 22-11 run, and we got a full slate of baseball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Steven, and we're coming off another freaking winning day, but it was a very, very small profitable day, but it still counts. Make it 17 of the last 20. Like you just heard, 85% of those days, 22-11 runs, of the last 7. I mean, guys, it's again still all coming up roses, but it's baseball, and it can humble you quickly, so we're going to keep at the grind. Now, quick reminder before we get into anything, I will be on the Kyle Kerm show. It'll be brief parts of his live videos on Wednesday this week and on Friday. It'll be after the MLB talk. I'll be hopping on to talk that one NFL team that day. So come join, come leave some comments. It'll be a lot of fun as we start previewing all the NFL teams. And then on this channel, we're going to be doing a live video in August, talking sleeper teams and a whole bunch else. And you guys are going to be able to be a part of it in the chat and everything. We're just going to have some fun with that video. Me and Ryan will be there. So anyways, and if you don't know Kyle Kerms, go check his channel out. He's awesome. Good peeps, and they work hard. Go subscribe to his channel. But it's Dinger Tuesday. That's right. Winner gets $25 today. And if you don't know how to play, then I'll tell you. You leave one comment below with your best home run bet. That's right. But in order to win, you must have the odds and the sports book as a part of it. If you don't have that, it does not count. Now, if we have a tiebreaker, more than one person hits, which we usually do, the higher odds win. If we have a tie with the odds, it's the longest home run hit. And if we have a tie with the same player, we will have a Wednesday showdown. So we've been doing that every single week this season, and it's been a ton of fun. Thank you guys for participating. So let's get after it again. But speaking of getting after it, how about a 15-game slate? I'm just going to say this a couple times during the video probably. It is the trade deadline day. Tread carefully. You just saw the bonkers that happened in the MLB on Monday. There was a ton of trades. There's a lot of movement, so just be careful. In fact, one of the guys I actually bet on to get a hit today was traded right before the game to another team. So just be careful on what you're doing. Not exactly a day where you just go absolutely crazy and bet multiple units or anything like that. But that's my rant. Here we go. Baseball fun fact time. Back in 2002, Seattle Mariners player Ron Wright had 3 plate appearances. This is wild. Here's what he did in those 3 plate appearances. He struck out, hit into a double play, and hit into a triple play. I'm not done. Those are his only 3 MLB ABs in his entire career. That's right. Imagine that. When someone says, hey, did you make it to the big show? Yeah, I did. I'm 0 for 3 with a K, a double play, and a triple play. That is insane. He was a Mariner for 3 plate appearances. I don't know the guy. I don't remember him. Anyways, in this video, we're going to recap yesterday, a 2-in-1 day, and then we're going to talk good and bad hitter matchups, and then, of course, the good pitcher strikeout matchups, and then the entire pitcher report for all 15 games, and then that big game breakdown is back today. We'll talk about that and wrap it all up with the best bets and the hitter parlay ideas, which, by the way, were smoking hot yesterday. And then, of course, with that bets recap. So hit that like button. Leave a comment below like you guys do every single flipping day because you guys are awesome. On our way to 27,000 subscribers. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate the support. We got NFL right around the corner. We got a lot going on. Nothing like fall for sports. That's right. So anyways, let's get into it. And it starts with the recap. There it is, guys. The 2-in-1 day. We won 0.21 units. And before we start anything, look at the bottom right. I mean, if you have been following us all year, you know it has been a struggle the first half of the year. Baseball is hard. We were down almost 20 units. We are now up 0.04 units. So real quick, before I go over the bets recap, I do just have to say this. I want to thank my mom and my dad and my wife for always being there for the support, and Ryan behind the scenes. I couldn't have done it without you. Getting to plus 0.04. Freaking fantastic. Now, again, in all reality, we need to win more than that, and I want to keep rolling, obviously, but God, it feels good to hit that plus button on there. I took my time, and I hit that button nice, carefully, changed it from a minus to a plus. But that's my rambling. I'm excited. Sorry. Royals team total over 4.5. Bobby Witt, I love you. That's all I'm going to say. He had 4 hits, including a grand salami in the 8th inning to cash this ticket and get us into the positive for the year. Paul Skeens, he just, you know what? He was cruising through 4 innings, and then the 5th and the 6th just kind of fell apart. Not necessarily giving up a ton of runs, but he had a career-high 3 walks, and that hurt the pitch count. We had some at-bats where it was like 7-8 pitches, and it ended with a walk. Those are just killers. So just didn't get it done. Got 18 outs, lost on the hook, and then Vlad, 1+ hit. He got a hit in like his second at-bat, I believe. I think he got 2 hits, actually. And then Lane Thomas, 1+ hit. He is no longer on the Nationals. He got traded to the Guardians and did not play today, so that is a half unit on one guy only, and that's where the tiny win came in. But either way, 17 in the last 20, we will take it. As you can see, player props are crushing it. Game bets are not crushing it. But that's the bets recap. And now let's talk the good and bad hitter matchups. All right, we got 18 of these good hitter matchups for you today. And again, some of these guys might be on different teams by the end of the day. Who knows? Marcus Semien, though, up there, 8 for 25. How about the third one down? JT Realmuto, 11 for 20 off of the stud Garrett Cole. That's pretty freaking impressive. And then we got Stanton, Tyler Stevenson, 9 for 16 with the home run against the lefty Justin Steele. And then Spencer Steer, another Cincinnati Red, 5 for 12 as well. And then over there on the right, Christian Walker. We got some Arizona Diamondbacks here because they are facing Patrick Corbin, so that's kind of a given. And so on and so on. Willie Castro, 3 for 6. Seth Brown, 3 for 7. All that kind of good stuff. So anyways, those are the good hitter matchups for Tuesday. And now let's check out the bad hitter matchups. We have more than usual. I'm not going to go over it. I'll just point out some of these guys are big names, obviously. Paul Goldschmidt, 7 for 38 with 17 Ks against Mad Max. And then Schwarber, 3 for 20 with 6 Ks against Garrett Cole. Now, Xander Bogaerts is 3 for 17, but he's been on an absolute tear lately. So just keep that in mind. Arenado also struggling against Scherzer. Again, a lot of these are when Scherzer was in his prime. So you got to take that into effect. And then Jazz, the new Yankee, who's showing out right now so far against Nola, struggling. Benintendi, some White Sox players over there against Michael Wacha, because White Sox players just can't do much of anything right now. But anyways, those are all the hitter matchups for Tuesday. And now let's talk some arms. All right, as you can see, there are no great pitcher strikeout matchups, but we still got some news and notes for you because I want to give you some info. So Castillo is facing the Red Sox. We know the Red Sox strike out a little bit, but Luis, 126 Ks and 130.1. Boston has a top 10 K rate, or bottom 10, however you want to look at it, 24.5%. Edward Cabrera of the Marlins facing the Tampa Bay Rays, who have traded players away. Those are the numbers. We will talk about that game later. And then Hunter Brown, downtown Hunter Brown. We know he's been solid, especially after that first month of the year when he struggled. But Pirates, here's this. And by the way, these are not all good matchups that are listed. These are just notes to let you guys know. The Pirates have not been striking out a lot. Pirates' 5th lowest K rate versus righties the last 3 weeks at only 19.6%. That is a huge improvement where they were beginning of the year. And then Tyler Glasnow versus the Padres. We know Glasnow can get some Ks, 147 of them in 114 innings. But the Padres are the second hardest team to strike out versus righties in the last 3 weeks at 16.7%. So those are just some news and notes to kind of help you out for the pitcher strikeout matchups. And now let's take a look at the pitcher report. All right, these are the first 8 matchups. And of course, we start out with Gavin Williams, the youngster, going up against TBD of the Tigers. We've talked about this all year. TBD has been solid. I mean, just legitimate numbers. But we got some good pitchers like Corbin Burns, Garrett Cole going up against Aaron Nola. If you don't know Jeffrey Springs, so you see NA there. He hasn't pitched since 2022, but he was solid in 2022 before some terrible injuries. He had under a 2.5 ERA. Had him on my fantasy team then. I remember he's just a breakout. So he is a good pitcher. Cincinnati, they had Frankie Montas listed here. He just got traded to the Brewers. I had to take him off, so it's Justin Steele against that stud TBD as well. James Paxton, how about going back to the Red Sox, where he's pitched before, to face another team where he's pitched before against the Mariners. So that'll be his first start for them. And then Festa, who is obviously not much for the Twins at all. He's not going to throw many innings either, going up against the lefty. And then Scherzer versus Lynn, which we will talk about soon. So those are the first 8 matchups. Take a screenshot. Again, all the numbers are on the bottom. Hopefully this is a great way to start your day and just cut a ton of time into your research so you don't have to spend hours and hours doing it. But now let's check out page 2. All right, these are the final 7 matchups. Of course, we got that stud TBD throwing twice. But we got some weak pitchers on this page. I'm not going to lie. Cal Quantrill of the Rockies facing Griffin Canning, who is a can against for the Angels. It's just there could be some runs there. I know those offenses aren't 2 offenses that make you just want to jump to the over, but there should be some runs there because those guys are struggling. And speaking of struggling, how about Corbin versus Ryan Nelson? Both giving up over 10 hits per 9 innings. Nelson's been a little better at home, but it just has not been pretty for them. And then Glasnow versus the knuckleballer. That should be fun. And then JP Sears, who doesn't miss many bats and isn't very good in general, going up against Robbie Ray. And if you don't know about him, he was a Cy Young Award winner a few years ago, then signed a big deal with the Mariners, and that didn't work out because, well, when you put on the Mariners jersey, that's what happens. He just threw his first game, 5 innings, and had a 1.1% K rate. Do not count on that for the rest of the year, but he did have a good first showing. So anyways, that's what we got for the second page and the final 7 matchups of the pitcher report. And now it's time for the big game breakdown. All right, before we get into that big game breakdown, you guys know how we talk about our call sheet trades of the day. We've been winning some money, just cashed on that college football video game. Although I did just lose on that Deadpool and Wolverine Metacritic score and all that. Anyways, we've been having a ton of fun. We just wanted to kind of show you guys what this page looks like. And again, if you want to be a part of this, the link is below. The first 500 people get a $20 bonus credit. And it's federally regulated in all 50 states, guys. It is a ton of fun. You can put $1.50. It's like trading. It's like stocks, except for on all world events and more things that actually interest you. It is just an absolute blast. It's the only website of its kind. I only share with you guys the really cool websites, of course. But anyways, just to kind of show you an idea, you can see up there, use economics, politics, culture, companies, crypto, I mean, so on and so on, all the way over to climate, which is daily temperatures if you just want to have fun with that. Transportation, there's some sports, movies, music, all that kind of stuff. So just to kind of show you how one page works, if you just go down right there, PlayStation 6 announced before 2026. This is just something you can trade on. Now, right now, because it's late at night and we're recording this, the trading is paused, starts back up in the morning, throughout the day and night. And you can trade whether you want yes or no. It tells you how many contracts you're going to buy. It's pretty self-explanatory. It gives you the rules at the bottom as well. If Sony announces this before December 31st, it's going to be a yes, etc., etc. And there's people that comment below and all that. So anyways, there's just a ton to get into. KALSHI is awesome. Again, go click that link below and join the fun, because me and Ryan are having a ton of fun every day. So now it's time to get back to the big game breakdown. All right, the big game breakdown takes us out to St. Louis, where the Cardinals host the Texas Rangers. I know what you guys are thinking. Why didn't you pick the Yankees, Phillies, or all that? We've talked about those teams over and over. I want these games, these breakdowns, to kind of be of some new teams sometimes, so we're kind of learning about all these players and everything. But the Rangers on the money line minus 125, Cardinals on the money line plus 125, with a total of 8.5 runs. Now let's talk spot real quick. Texas Rangers. Game 2 of this series. This is Game 5 of a 6-game road trip for them. They just won yesterday in Game 1 of the series. They are 6-5 since the All-Star break. And then Cardinals. This will be the 5th game of 6 of a homestand, and they are now 4-6 since the All-Star break. And they also just made a big trade. They added Eric Fetty, the pitcher from the White Sox, huge pickup for them, and Tommy Pham as well, as a good bottom of the order type guy who can make some contact. So, starting pitcher matchup. Guys, it's Max Scherzer versus Lance Lynn. They have a combined age of 77. That is insane. I didn't even do it because of that. I just saw it as I was doing it. But Scherzer, he has made 7 starts this year. We all know he is not the Hall of Fame prime, in his prime or anything like that, which he shouldn't be. He's getting old now. But he's given up 3 or less earned runs in 6 of 7 starts, 2 or less earned runs in 4 of his last 7. He's been a pretty decent pitcher. He's been an above average pitcher. Nothing elite, but definitely hasn't been a problem either. So home away splits, similar ERAs on both. 3.38 ERA on the road, 3.72 ERA at home. On the road, he has given up a higher average, though. He is on the road here. 254 average and 492 slugging. Compared to at home, only giving up a 214 average and 329 slugging. So this is his worst split here. He does have similar strikeout and walk splits on home and away. Righty-lefty splits versus lefties, 250 average against with a 429 slugging versus righties, 221 average with a 390 slugging. But he has an incredibly much higher, that's not even English. He has a higher K rate versus righties, 29.5%, compared to lefties at only 15.9%. And another part of that, he has a much higher walk rate to lefties. And this is insane. 9.5% walk rate to lefties, 1.3% versus righties. He gets hit by lefties a lot, and he just beats around the strike zone a little bit. He doesn't strike him out. He walks them a ton. It's pretty crazy. So, in summary, he gives up more hits to lefties, more slugging, more walks, and has a very low K rate. Now, interesting note for Scherzer, first time through the order, 28.6% K rate. Second time, 19.6%. Third time, 18.2%. It just drops off heavily after that first time. Hitters do make adjustments on him. Now, the other old man, Lance Lynn, he's had an average season. Honestly, 37 years old. You can't expect too much. But Lynn, it's been strange overall because he is a very tough pitcher. You don't know if he's going to absolutely blow up or if he's going to dominate. But July has been really weird for him. It's only been a few starts, but 2 really good starts and 1 absolutely horrendous start. In the 2 good starts, 11 innings, 2 earned runs versus Pittsburgh and Chicago combined. And then versus the Nationals, 2.2 innings and 10 earned runs given up. It was the worst start of his career, maybe. It was horrendous. But he has now given up 2 or less earned runs in 4 of his last 5 starts, again, mixed in with that 10 earned runs game. But home and away splits. Home, 3.59 ERA with a 217 average against and 348 slugging. On the road, 4.81 ERA, 289 average against. He's getting hit on the road, 473 slugging. Luckily for him, he is at home in this game. And he also has a much better K rate at home, 25.7% compared to only 16.4% on the road. That is pretty incredible splits there. And then similar walk rates. But righty lefties for Lance Lynn versus lefties, set 275 average, 464 slugging. And then versus righties, 229 average and a 351 slugging. 9 of his 14 home runs he's given up this year have been to lefties. He has a higher K rate to righties, 24% compared to 18.4% lefties, and a much higher walk rate to lefties, just like Max Scherzer at 11.5% compared to only 5.9% walk rate to righties. So he's a guy who's going to mightily struggle the third time he gets through the order. First time through the order, 3.66 ERA. Second time, 3.07 ERA. Third time, 8. No kidding. 8.00 ERA. It makes it tough in those 5th and 6th innings of games if you can't quite get through it. But let's talk offenses now. Rangers, last 3 weeks versus righties. We keep waiting for them to dominate, and it still has not happened yet. 27th best WRC+, 25th slugging, 24th on base percentage, but they do have the 10th highest walk rate. Cardinals versus righties last 3 weeks, been pretty good. Kind of under the radar, too. 8th best WRC+, 9th highest slugging, 12th best on base percentage, but the 5th lowest walk rate. So now let's talk bullpens real quick. Rangers in the last 30 days, how about the 8th best bullpen ERA at 3.27, but they do have a 4.16x or 17 xFIP, so they are due for some negative regression there. And then the Cardinals, 13th best ERA in the last 30 days with a 3.67 ERA and a 4.08 xFIP, actually a little better than the Rangers. Now the Rangers yesterday just used Kirby Yates, their closer, 19 pitches. Then Boers, I don't know how you say it. 18 pitches, Robertson 15, and then Cardinals used Roycroft 25, and then Leahy 23 pitches. So that's all the stuff. I hope there's some gems in there, whether it's walk props, hit props, or maybe you just like a side. After I went through all this, I was like, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna find a good bet. This is a tough game to bet. Like I said, Lance Lynn is extremely hard to predict. And then Max Scherzer, he's a little hard to predict, but for the most part, you kind of know what you're getting from him. But I have some leans. I have no best bets as of now. I'm sorry. I just apologize. But here we go. Cardinals team total over 3.5 is a lean. Again, this is not an official best bet. I think they can get to Scherzer for at least a few runs. If you get 3 runs off him, and then all you need is 1 more off the bullpen or 2-2, whatever it is. In July, Max does have a 4.32 ERA. He's not exactly just some unhittable pitcher or anything like that. Doesn't miss a ton of bats like he used to. And then the Cardinals' top 10 offense last 3 weeks. I think 3.5 is kind of a nice buy low spot here for the Cardinals. And then speaking of that, if you want to bet a side, I lean Cardinals money line. I think at plus money right now. They're coming off a loss in game 1. I think this might be one of Lance Lynn's good starts here versus a struggling Rangers offense. And it's kind of a gut feeling. I think they bounce back and get a win after losing game 1 at home. So those are my leans. And that is the entire big game breakdown. And now let's move on to bet number 1. All right, this first bet takes us out to Tampa, Florida, where the Rays host the Miami Marlins. Rays on the money line minus 166. Marlins on the money line plus 140 with a total of 7.5 runs. My best bet in this game, you saw it earlier. Give me Edward freaking Cabrera over 5.5 Ks at minus 125 on ESPN Bet. This will be a half unit. I'll tell you why it's a half unit in a little bit, but I was actually curious about this prop right away because when I saw the Rays trade away Isaac Paredes and Ahmed Rosario, I thought, you know what? Those are actually 2 of their lower strikeout guys. This team is going to be loaded with options. So Paredes, by the way, 15.9% K rate, which is really low. Rosario, 17.5%. And the only other guy who doesn't have a high strikeout and has a low one is Yandy Diaz. He may or may not be traded before this game as well, as he is rumored. But let's dig into some more numbers, and you know that means we got to go check out Outlier. All right, if you don't know already, Outlier, a great one-stop shop for all your betting research. It has been a huge help for the second half of the season and the role we've been going on. It saves so much time and gives me so much information. Absolutely love it. Go click that link below. You are missing out, I promise, if you are not a part of Outlier. But the link is below. Go try out the free trial at least. That's the least you could do. But let's talk Edward Cabrera in this bet for now. Now, let's look at his 2024 numbers. As you can see there, he's over this 5.5 Ks mark in 5 of 9 starts. Now, let's go over to the last 5, as you're going to see. And if you're a last 5 bettor, you're not going to like it. He's only over in 2 of those 5. But some of those misses, as you can see there, one was the Mets, then the Dodgers, and then a weird one versus the White Sox. But the other 2 are tough K teams. But now let's see what he's done on the road. So let's go to 2024 And let's go to road team. So there's the road. And then 2024, he's only had 3 road starts because he hasn't made a ton yet this year. And he's over this in 2 of the 3. But here's why I really love this bet. Let's take a look at some Rays hitters over there on the bottom right. And we already have a click there. It's versus right-handed pitching. The Rays hitters, guys. And like I already mentioned, 2 of their lowest strikeout better hitters just got traded away. It's huge. We have Alex Jackson, 36.5%. Caballero, 27.8% K rate. Lowe's, 24.1%. That's Brandon. Walls, 30.8. DeLuca, 25.5. Josh Lau, 31.9. Jose Siri, 35.1. Guys, there is a ton of strikeout targets. That's 7 potential Rays hitters with a 24% K rate or higher. I would love to see at least 5 of those in the lineup. 6, maybe 7 would be even more fantastic. But they're not exactly going to be replacing those hitters with guys who are just elite bat-to-ball skills or anything like that. So, anyways, that's the big reason I like it. Now, the big worry here, the big reason why I'm doing a half unit and not a full unit, because it's Edward Cabrera. We've talked about him before. He can be erratic. He is a guy who could strike out 3 and walk 6, or he could strike out 10 and walk 1. You just don't know. He dominated last time. I think it was his last start, or maybe the start before. Either way, in one start recently, he walked 5 guys and struck out 3. It can happen, but I really love the matchup here, especially this watered down Rays lineup. I think the second half of this year, if they don't, have this unbelievable talent coming through, I think this is going to be one of the higher K teams you're going to see through the second half of the year, especially if Yandy Diaz gets traded. Yandy Diaz has a K rate that's like 14.5%. That is ridiculously low. If they get rid of him, the whole lineup is almost a good target for Edward Cabrera and all the opposing starting pitchers. So half unit play for me. Give me Mr. Edward Scissorhands Cabrera over 5.5 Ks. All right, this second one takes us back out to the south side, Chicago, where the White Sox host the Kansas City Royals. Royals on the money line minus 180, White Sox money line plus 150 with a total of 9 runs. I'm not going to overthink this one. Call it chalky, call it a trap, whatever you want, but give me the Royals on the run line at minus 1.5 at minus 105 on Bet365. This is a full 1 unit play for me. The White Sox are slow, not even slowly, they're becoming one of the worst MLB teams in MLB history. Again, they're one of like only 2 teams I said that have lost 70 games before the All-Star break. They're trading more players away, and what might even be better is they may trade 1 or 2 more players away in their lineup before the first pitch of this game. They are in full sell mode. They are absolutely horrendous. Now the starting pitcher matchup. Michael Waka Waka versus Jonathan Cannon. Waka, he had a slow start to the year, but since then, how about a 1.74 ERA in June, a 2.78 ERA in July? He is becoming the pitcher that they've wanted him to for a while now. He already dominated the White Sox this season just 2 starts ago, 7 innings, 4 hits, and 0 earned runs. Now, Mr. Cannon, he's done well going deep into games. We hit his over-outs recorded recently. He's gone 6 innings quite a bit, but he's still giving up runs. He's given up 3 or more earned runs in 4 of his last 6 starts. And also, in those 6 starts, he has a 5.66 ERA. It's not been pretty. The book is out on this guy. But he's just faced the Royals 2 starts ago as well. He gave up 4 earned runs in 6 innings. The Royals won 6-1 in that game, easily covering the run line. Now let's talk about the offenses. Royals, 12th best WRC plus versus righties in the last 3 weeks. 2nd best batting average, 8th best slugging, and the 9th best on base percentage. And now to the White Sox. This is unreal. Dead last in pretty much everything. The worst batting average. They're hitting 199 as a team, guys. 199. Other options in this one, Michael Waka under 5.5 hits. Michael Waka under 2.5 earned runs if you want to do that. They're dead last WRC plus. On base percentage, dead last 250. On base 1/4 of the time, by the way. They just freaking suck, and they may lose even more players. Bullpen, we know the Royals are better. I don't think the Royals are some elite bullpenner. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they are, but the White Sox are way worse. They're horrendous. We saw it yesterday when we were trying to tail the Royals team total, at least I did, and the White Sox kept bringing in new bullpen arms, and I just kept looking at them like, there's a 5 ERA guy, there's a 6 ERA guy. They're just horrendous. They just have nobody, and if there is anybody left, they're going to be trading them away because they don't need good bullpen arms this year at all. So I'm getting the much better starting pitcher, the much better offense, the better bullpen, and the Royals are the road team, which is what you love to see on a minus 1.5 line, which means they get 9 guaranteed at bats to get that 1.5 line cover. So give me the Royals minus 1.5 as my second best bet. And now let's talk about those hitter parlay ideas. All right, it's that time of the video, and if you followed yesterday, I gave you 4. 1 guy did not play, he got traded. The other 3, They combined for 9 hits. It's unbelievable. They absolutely dominated. So I got 4 more. Let's see if we can stay hot. First one, Elliot Ramos of the Giants. He's facing a lefty. I shouldn't have to say more. If you've been following this year, you know he is unbelievable. He's hitting a ridiculous 431 off lefties this year. He's facing JP Sears, who gives up a ton of hits and does not miss many bats like we talked about. Second one, Ketel Marte crushing lefties as well. He also happens to be already 5 for 12 off Patrick Corbin, as most people are, and he's hitting 330 at home. Now at home versus lefties, see, putting them together, 406 average. Absolutely insane. Third one, Rafael Devers. He's hitting 500 the last 7 days. He's on the Red Sox, by the way. Facing Luis Castillo, who we've talked about before in a big game breakdown. He struggles versus lefties. 273 average against, any 467 slugging. Devers on fire last 7 days, also hitting 304 at home. The fourth one, the Mighty Mouse, the horse jockey when he retires, Jose Altuve, hitting 391 the last 7 days. I really don't know who he's facing. There's a chance. We had TBD in the pitcher report, so right now we aren't 100% sure. I think it might be Bailey Falter. If it is, Falter's a lefty. Altuve, 336 off lefties. And if it's not Falter, by the way, I just know it's not Paul Skeens, so I'm good. And even then, he got a hit off him. So I still like this one. Jose Altuve, 1+ hit in 12 of the last 13 games, hitting the ball well. So those are my 4 hitter parlay ideas for you guys. Hopefully these hit, as well as the best bets. And then that's all the bets, or all the research help and the big game breakdown. And now let's check out the recap. All right, there it is. Just the 2 bets so far. Again, we're going to be cautious today because it is the trade deadline. But Edward Cabrera over 5.5 Ks for a half unit. And then the Royals -1.5 is my 1 unit play at -105 on Bet365. Any added plays will be in the pinned comments on X and on Discord. Let's keep this train rolling. This has been a ton of fun. I love the second half of the year so far. But thank you guys for the support. If you haven't already, hit that like button and keep leaving those comments like you guys do every single day, especially for the Dinger Tuesday contest, and we'll see who wins on Wednesday. So thanks again. Hope everyone has a great Tuesday, and we'll talk to you soon.